It's a rough morning. Shaun and I are getting sick. Shaun is in moving transition. What else is happening?
We're having technical difficulties.
Yeah, life,
I
man.
just lost you.
I'm here. A little delay.
Yeah, you just cut out. I didn't hear what you said. I'm not getting sick, but it is a rough morning for me.
I'm getting sick. The back of my hair looks like a bird's nest. It's a very rough morning. Shaun is in moving transition. We have poor connection. You know, they say when it rains, it pours.
And it's also pouring outside here in San Francisco. There's an
Oh.
atmospheric river happening.
Hey, do you love San Francisco? I have never I've never gotten San Francisco, meaning the price, the how much it costs to live there, and why people like it there. I feel like it's always just gloomy and expensive.
Yeah, I do like San Francisco. I mean, I lived here for 10 years
No, I know,
and then I was in the Bay Area for, 15 or 20 years. So, I mean, it's kind of home to
Yeah,
me, and it's also very beautiful. You have access to nature. It's small. So
yeah,
it's not like unlike LA. LA just feels like a huge,
spread out.
it's just a sprawl, and it's like cars and strip malls and
Mm,
driving and
mm,
smog and like where's the nature? Whereas here, like it's just everywhere. So um yeah, I like it here. There's a lot of weirdos. I mean, it's not perfect, and of course it's like
yeah,
super gentrified and it's pretty homogenous, and like the fact that there's a lot of tech people here,
yeah.
which is kind of why I left in the first place, because no one who wasn't in tech could afford to live there. And so it just made it less interesting. But it's also a really beautiful place.
I could see that. They say it's the in between LA and New York, which I disagree.
No one says that.
Oh, that's what they say. They say it's like in between LA and New York.
Wait, well, no, it would be
Maybe.
like in between LA and like some rural part of the country. Like it would be in between LA and like Asheville or something, you know?
Mm. Um, is it true we're going to be on top of a rooftop hotel in Hollywood doing our podcast, or is
I
that a
don't know.
rumor?
She never replied.
Oh shit!
Hey, we're looking for a place, hopefully a rooftop in Hollywood or somewhere cool to do a live podcast. And
Yeah,
it would be cool to like have coffee beforehand, right? Like people come in, we grab some coffee, we do a podcast,
yes,
and then we do a little meet and greet or something.
I love the idea. I don't want it to be a Best Western. There's a lot of cool rooftop um, hotels in Los Angeles, so I think we can make it happen.
Okay, so if you know of a rooftop hotel, or it could be a cool space, it doesn't have to be a rooftop.
Yeah, I mean, we could rent out a theater, like a 99 seat theater, but something about the rooftop smells very Los Angeles to me, which I love.
Okay.
Maybe a DJ, we don't really have guests, but we'll engage with the audience with questions and stuff.
I
I
don't
could see
think
it.
we need a DJ.
No DJ, yeah, no DJ. Sorry.
It's like 8 a.m.,
Yeah,
on a
yeah, that's true.
Monday.
Well, it doesn't. Well, we wouldn't do it at 8 a.m. Sean. If we want people there, it has to be kind of like an event, a
Got
time when
it.
people would actually come. Maybe during the sunset or something really cool.
Maybe a rooftop makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. How are you feeling? You're getting sick, but like what's your internal world?
I'm getting sick. I'm a little burnt out. The end of the year is coming. I'm just tired, man. I don't know how to say it. I'm drained. I'm tired. Work has gotten me tired. The holidays are coming. We're not doing anything. We're not going anywhere. We're just kind of putting on our pajamas and buckling down. What about you? How are you doing?
I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired of moving around. I'm tired. It's just been like a really long and like logistically complex couple weeks. Finding
Yeah.
a place to live in LA is also like kind
Oh my
of
God. Yeah.
overwhelming.
You did find a place, which congratulations. It looks nice.
I did. Yeah, I found that place in East Hollywood. I'm actually getting pretty excited. I
Nice.
move in on Saturday.
Wow, dude, everything's happening so fast.
Yeah. So it's true. It's like I'm actually going to LA. Most of my friends were like, "There's no way you're going to do it. You're just talking."
No, you're doing it.
I'm doing it. Yeah, we're gonna work out. We're gonna work out at Faros. I found the local bike co-op where you can like help people fix their bikes. I usually volunteer at a bike co-op.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, it's like a fun way to give back, but it's also just like a fun way to do something with your hands. It just doesn't really involve your brain that much,
Yeah.
and it's kind of nice to get out of that space.
Like bicycles?
Yeah, bicycles, like
Nice.
helping people fix their bikes. Yeah,
Shaun, that's so sweet. That's
I
so
know
sweet.
it's
I
like
love
it's
that.
very wholesome. It's like one of the most
Yeah.
wholesome things that I do. The most wholesome thing that I do is I help people fix their bikes.
Dude, I had no idea. So you obviously have bike skills. You're good with building bikes and
I'm
you
good
know
with
your way around
building
bikes.
and repairing and working on bikes. Yeah. Like gears, derailleurs,
Yeah.
headsets, like the whole thing. I've been volunteering at some sort of bike co-op um since I was like 25.
Wow. That's a
Yeah.
fun fact. I didn't know that about you. That's
Yeah.
very admirable. I mean, it kind of reminds me of when people volunteer at the animal shelter and, give back.
Yeah, I think it's on par with animal shelter, I would say. Because people come in and they don't want you to fix their bikes. They
Yeah.
really want you to show them how to fix their
Right.
bikes. And
So
so
you're
it's like
teaching.
we're teaching, it's super empowering. You're not supposed to grab the tools, you're not supposed to
Hmm.
like show them how to do it. You like walk them through it. It's actually kind of hard to do because fixing bikes is like they're like tiny little movements, you know?
Yeah.
So you have to be a decent teacher and you have to have patience and you have to be able to problem solve because they come in with these like clapped out bikes that have just
Yeah.
been like sitting out in the winter for 3 years and you just have to kind of rebuild the whole thing. But it's really fun. What I get out of it is like I just get to get out of my head. I
Hmm.
can help other people. I get to like use my hands. I don't know. It's not
I
work.
No, I love it. That's like some Mr. Miyagi shit. I think I need something like that in my life where I'm giving back that isn't therapy related or something that I'm trying to like, build for me, but just something completely different that I'm, contributing to the world. That's not, my words.
Yeah, and you make a difference. Like people are just like
Hmm.
they like try to tip you. They're just like, "Oh my god, I'm so grateful. I didn't think I could do this."
Mm.
And it also helps people who can't afford to go to like bike mechanics where they charge like, 100, $150 an hour for repairs.
What a great what great advice for actually anyone moving into a new city, and they're scared and they're trying to build community. So what Sean's doing is just diving right in by being of service, and then by being of service, there's community just in that space. So that's a great tip for anyone moving in.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I was on Reddit a couple nights ago, kind of late into the night, trying to figure out like where everything was in LA, and I was looking at the bike
yeah,
lanes.
yeah.
And I found a bike on Craigslist or on Facebook Marketplace, and then I like was like, okay, it's 18 minutes to the gym. That's not bad.
Mm. So you're gonna
Um,
ride. You're gonna ride your bike to the gym.
every now and then, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I have time.
Dude, are you gonna pull me into road bikes? Am I gonna have a little helmet and bike shorts, and we can be riding down up and down PCH and shit?
I
No,
don't think so.
I don't know if that's my thing.
That's not my thing. So I can't pull you into it.
Oh, you don't ride bikes? You just fix them? You don't
No, I
actually?
ride bikes. I don't ride road bikes. I don't go on like long road rides.
Oh,
I'm more of like a bike
oh,
commuter
got it, got it,
or mountain biking.
got it.
Like I just bike to get around. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
going on
yeah.
long road rides. That's
Oh,
not my
okay,
jam. I don't have
yeah,
like I don't have spandex or
okay. Because my friend does that. He'll ride like 50 miles,
yeah. I don't need
like from
gels.
LA to Santa Barbara. Yeah, okay, no, that's not you.
Yeah, that's not me. No, I'm a urban biker. So I'll be like riding in traffic and stuff.
What's coming up for you as you're entering Los Angeles? I'm sure a lot of feelings, but and I think generally you do feel better about it. But what's coming up for you? How do you feel?
I feel generally excited and looking forward to it.
Mm,
Because some things have moved, fallen into place. Like I found my apartment,
yeah.
and I think that was the biggest fear is where am I going to end up?
Did you meet the communal? Did you meet the other option? Like, did you meet the people?
Oh, I did.
And then, because this is really interesting. So Sean had a choice between getting his own place, which was my encouragement as well, and then some communal living in a giant house, a la the real world, a la have roommates, adult roommates, and that could be amazing. It could also be a nightmare. And I was telling him, man, you're in your 40s, dude. I think you should just live alone. But how was that?
So I went to see both of them back to back. I saw the apartment in East Hollywood, and then I drove to West Hollywood, and the house was super nice. The people that lived there were very nice. Well, I'll just say that, right? And I wouldn't mind living in community if it was with my friends,
Right?
not strangers that might become my friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you were to handpick friends, that of course that would be amazing. But also, I feel like we all have this fantasy of communal living, especially if you're parents and we can help each other out, make meals, let the kids run around. In theory, I think it sounds amazing, but I think also sometimes your best friends are your best friends because there's distance and space, and if you're actually seeing them all the time, they don't. The friendship changes very fast. People start getting on each other's nerves and stuff,
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think the holy grail of communal living is we're all on the same piece of land. We all have little
With fences.
casitas.
Yeah.
And then there's a main house that we congregate at and maybe have meals at, but we all have space.
Yes. We're not like walking into each other's living rooms at just any time and doing that kind of shit.
Yeah.
There are rules.
Putting a sock on the door as a sign to not come in.
Yes, and I think if you're parents, I think it's ideal because we could rotate watching children and stuff like that, giving other couples, the opportunity for afternoon delights, etc. But
sure,
but dude, I think like friends can become annoying very fast if there aren't some boundaries and space given.
I don't know, man. I think it depends on the friendships. I think that you can live with your friends. There are a lot of people live with their friends, and it can make the relationship even stronger because they're going through the friction.
Yeah.
And they're like addressing the parts of the relationship that need addressing. And I think it can really deepen a relationship.
It's a great idea. So you just didn't feel a connection with these strangers, I'm assuming.
Correct. And also they were like open to considering living with a dog,
right.
And so she was like, so there was like there was a woman and a guy, and she goes, yeah, so about the dog, like I'm not like really into dog hair.
Oh,
and I was like,
it's going to be an issue.
I was like, well, he does shed a normal amount, but I also do vacuum after him, but it's not. Yeah. She's like, yeah, I just don't want it on my clothes or anything. I was like, well, and there was a piano in the living room, and it had a bunch of dust bunnies underneath it. And I go, like, he sheds just about as much as there are dust bunnies under that piano.
Oh shit! There's already subtle attention and little jabs happening in the interview.
And then the other guy actually had to like diffuse the situation a little bit. Like he could tell that there was already some tension.
Yeah. No, see, that's
And then when I left, I'm like, yeah, I hope I get the apartment.
Yeah.
So well, I'm feeling hopeful. I'm excited to hang with you. I'm excited to get back to working out. Like I haven't been working out at all, like since before Mexico, and I'm feeling it. I've also been using a lot of nicotine since before Mexico, and I'm also feeling that, and I really don't like it. It feels like I just don't feel good when I do that.
Where are you going to spend most of your days? Like, because I'm pretty much working sprinkled throughout the day, coffee shops, garage, here and there. I'm always going somewhere, coming from somewhere. What does your life look like, the day to day? Because you don't do a lot of. Do you do a lot of sessions? Do you have a practice, or are you just running around? What do you do?
I think I kind of do what you do.
Run around and obviously create content, answer questions, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and work from coffee shop, work from home, go to the gym, come back. Except for I squeeze a nap in every day, whereas you're just like you create more content while I'm napping.
Yes.
I see clients, like I have a handful of clients.
Okay.
Either one-offs or a couple repeats. So I'm taking calls. They're called walk and talks. I'm usually walking and talking.
Dude, that's what I do. That's my favorite. I hate Zoom. I do walk and talks in the ear. It's actually more intimate.
Yeah, I like walk and talks.
Yeah.
And then then there's gym, and then there's like some sort of either hanging out alone at night or like some social thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's my day.
Awesome, man. It's all coming together. I'm excited to Los Angeles is welcoming you with open arms.
It does feel like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also excited for us to just like, relax.
Bro down.
Well, yeah, bro, down like together and separately. It sounds like you need some downtime.
Yes. Yes. End of the year, I feel like it's like that with everyone, end of the year, everyone's kind of exhausted. Also, April's tax season, and just this is that time where I think a lot of people just want to get away, you know.
We're in
Um,
November.
we're in November, but after well, at least for me, after the holidays, the next big thing for me is like, oh, I gotta do taxes. But maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's funny. It's like November, December, January, February, March, April. Taxes are due. It's like 5 months from now.
I know. I live in the future, man. I gotta stop.
Hey, we should talk about money.
Okay, let's talk
Right?
about money.
Hey, okay, I've got a funny story. This is super embarrassing. I think I lost.
Is it an example of you being cheap?
No.
No. Okay.
No. This is embarrassing. I think I lost 1.5 Bitcoin.
I don't even know what that means, dude. I don't do stocks. It gives me anxiety. I don't know what 1.5. I have no idea what that means. It's Chinese to me.
It's $150,000 right now.
Shit!
Today.
Wait, isn't Bitcoin right now going up? I mean, but it's up and down, up and down. Like what happened?
It's up.
It's up, and you sold it or something?
No, I lost it. I lost access to my wallet.
Oh, you lost the keys to the.
I lost the keys to the Porsche.
Oh fuck, dude, that feeling, that's tough. So I can relate to the feeling of that. Like I don't understand the Bitcoin stuff, but yes, knowing that something is going up in value and you could possibly sell it, and then not having the keys, oh man, I'm sorry.
And the problem is that as it like people are saying, oh, and I'm not a crypto bro, but I bought some. I like got caught up in the FOMO in like 2017 or something. Bought a little bit.
Yep.
Just held on to it. Never did anything with it. And now I'm like, oh, I should go look at how to get access to it. And I fumbled it a little bit, the whole protocol. Because
wait, is it because once you try a few times, then you get locked out, and then they require more, and then you're like, I don't
That's
even know
exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. I got locked out of my little device.
There's no way to get in. It's impossible.
There is. There's some phrase that I wrote down somewhere, but I need to figure out where that is. And I'm like, I was too good at hiding it from myself. That now I literally hid it from myself. The problem is that as Bitcoin continues, if it does continue to like go up in value,
that's tough, Shaun. Oh my God. It's like breaking up with a person who just gets more attractive and more attractive.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, I was on the fence, but I broke up with this person, and now this person is growing and they're beautiful, and now and you're just sitting there watching this person skyrocket.
That's exactly what happened.
Growth. Yeah. Oh man.
So when I found out that I had like lost access to it, it was hard. I was like pretty hard on myself. But I've also come to terms with it. Right? Like, what am I going to do? Other than, yes, like go look for it. Sure. Like I will. But what else can you do? Like people have lost money in the stock market. People have made bad decisions.
Yeah.
They're like, this will continue to happen to humans for the rest of your life. So what's the spiritual path here?
This is so relatable. I think many people have struggled with their version of this. And you're right. Like, this is a situation where you can either beat yourself up and go crazy and just in your spinning thoughts, and then all the what ifs, like what you could do with that money, blah, blah, what you should have done, or you could just accept that there isn't much you can do and choose to be kind of kinder to yourself and practice letting it go. Yeah. Fuck, Shaun, I'm sorry, man. If I put myself in this shoes, this would be really hard for me. I mean, I was just talking about taxes. I'd be like, I could have paid my tax. Yeah, so this would be really hard for me, and I think I'd be really hard on myself, and I would just be moping around saying "fuck" a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I did a little bit of that. I think that's where the nicotine's coming in. I think I just use nicotine when I'm like stressed out.
Yeah,
or when I want to party. That's like my party drug, which is like it's not bad. It's bad because it's
Yeah.
fun in the moment. Then I just get kind of hooked on it. I feel at peace with it. I think one of
Good.
the strategies that has helped me is easy come, easy go.
Mm,
And in this
yeah.
instance, it was more easy go, but also there's easy come,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then I think I try to think of like what my dad would tell me.
Mm.
And literally his advice is just like, oh, just make more money.
Oh, I love it. I
Yeah,
love because
just
my dad would be like, "You fucking idiot, you
no.
stupid, you dumb shit. What's wrong
Yeah.
with you?" Yeah.
My dad would just say, make more money.
Actually, my dad wouldn't say that. He wouldn't assassinate my character. He might be like that too. But I love that. I love that. That's what your dad would do. Because then that tells me how he was and how those mindsets impacted you. That's great.
Yeah, he would like mourn it and then like really
Yeah.
get into a solution about it. And it's like, well, what
Yeah.
else can you do right now? Like
Yeah.
you could turn your storage unit upside down, or you can
Right.
just go make more money.
Right. I love
That's
that, man.
yeah, I like it too. It's very
My
simple.
brother would be the one that calls me dumb shit. My dad would probably wouldn't, but you know, it's also easier for you because you're single. So at least this is your ownership, your responsibility. It doesn't affect anyone else. It's you and your dog. I think for me, a lot of the guilt would be, oh, it's going to impact my family, and I could have done this, and so that I feel like the guilt would compound since I'm not, just responsible for myself.
Well, I also want to say that Bitcoin is not the totality of my investment strategy.
Right, right.
You
It's
know,
not what you do. It's a side thing.
no,
Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah,
like I have a guy who helps me with my money, and he's like, let's just pretend that the Bitcoin doesn't exist. Like that's
right.
not a retirement strategy, or it wasn't. I mean,
Yeah,
it's hard though because sometimes you see people they're like, oh, I made $1 billion and I drive
I know.
Lamborghini, and it's
I
like,
know.
oh man.
It's like when you go to Vegas, you never assume you're going to win anything. You tell yourself, okay, I'm going to spend $1,000 this weekend. I'm losing it all, but it's going to be fun. And that, it's like one of those things where you're investing in things like this. You can't expect it to be your income or profit.
Yeah, unless it's your day job,
Yeah, unless that's what you do, and that's not what you do. Right.
What's your investment strategy, or how do you look at retirement, or because you got a family that help support.
Yeah. We can change the subject. I I think I don't want to say who, but someone's like, John spends $10 on coffee, and he doesn't have a retirement plan.
Yeah.
I you know what I think about it now more than ever, and because I am self-employed, and I haven't, I don't have like a 401k, but I for investments, it has to be property. It has like stocks don't make sense to me. It has to be something I could touch and walk into. So, um, I don't know, man. There are things that I need to start working on and focusing on. I think because most of my life I've just been kind of nomadic and single. I never really thought a lot about retirement.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, property can go up. Property usually
Yeah,
does go up, especially in LA. So that's
it feels
probably
safe.
that's not a bad move. It's funny because I don't want property. I just want investments. I don't want to deal with the headache of property.
Oh, right.
I'd rather it be all digital and in the ether, and like I don't have to go and like buy a new washer dryer or go like
Yeah,
fix
yeah,
the fucking drywall. Like I'd rather do it, differently.
yeah.
But what I will say about 401ks, by the way, is that they're a good vehicle for reducing your tax obligation.
Yes,
And
yes.
and because you don't like, I'm guessing you don't like doing your taxes. And I'm also guessing you don't really enjoy the paying of the taxes.
It's the paying part. I don't do my own taxes. I do pay someone to yeah. The when you have your own business, everyone knows this. You forget you have to pay taxes, and then tax season comes, and you have to pay a hefty amount, and that's the part that's crushing.
I pay quarterly taxes. I pay my
Yeah,
taxes.
that's a smart thing to do.
Yeah, because
I should.
Because then at the end of the year, I don't have to.
Right.
I don't owe anything extra, and sometimes
Yeah.
they actually even send me some money back. Okay, we don't want to bore people about
Yeah, I'm scared people are like, did I stumble upon a wrong show? What is it? What show is this?
Dave Ramsey's. But I got some money questions, so I guess we
All
should
right.
just go for the money questions.
Let's do it.
They're money and masculinity questions.
Ooh, Eminem.
Yeah. Yeah, Eminem.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's see. Oh, this is so wild. Okay.
Alex, age 37 for Phoenix. In men's groups sending in, this is a money question for men being the provider, is that we need to make six figures minimum to even think about getting into a relationship. I think that, I don't know if there's going to be a question to this, but I made six figures before. My first one didn't get the validation I wanted from my dad or even society or myself. It was, really not a big deal, but I mean, there's just so much pressure for men to being the provider. And I think it's interesting that, a lot of women put on dating apps, they want a provider, but it'd be different tonality, or I don't know what the word would be. Instead of they put the provider, if they put, I want a man that makes money versus putting the provider. So yeah, just want to get you guys' thoughts on, why does the minimum have to be six figures for men to make money?
Yeah.
I don't think that is a minimum. And I think if someone is saying, I want a provider, to me, that's kind of a reddish flag. I don't mind if someone says in their profile, I want someone to be ambitious and I want someone to be self-made or have passion, purpose. All of that's great. But this idea that I have a prerequisite, you got to be a provider, or worse, you have to make X amount of dollars. To me, that sounds like a transactional love. But I think the reason six figures comes into play these days is because that doesn't mean what it used to mean. So if you make six figures in Los Angeles, that's just barely getting by.
Whoa. Hold on. Six figures is anywhere between $100,000 and $999,000.
Okay, I mean like six figures low end. I mean 100 grand. I don't mean 900,000. Of course, right? Well, we're not saying mid six, high six. We're just saying low six.
Six is yeah. Most people think of six as low six, but it can be nearly seven.
Right. $100,000 a year, and then after taxes, and then with the rent and cost of living. I mean, you're not just barely making it, but you're definitely not rich in Los Angeles.
Well, in a lot of places in the United States. I mean, it really depends on where you live.
Yeah.
But this is the same thing as like a woman saying that she wants a guy who's 6'5", blue eyes, trust fund, works in finance, right?
Yeah, I just don't like the conditions,
But what he's saying is that like he feels like he can't even date unless he's making six figures.
Right. He's saying like, that's what people want.
That's the base.
Right.
You got to be at that. And the reality is there's a lot of people in the United States not making six figures, right? I don't even know what the average pay is. And it's like way below that.
And also he said he was 32?
34 or something?
Yeah. He's young, Yeah. You're right. That's the base model, man. That's not cruise control. That's not sunroof. That's not like a nice stereo. That's just an engine and wheels, six figures.
Yeah. A 2004 Tacoma.
It's a Honda Civic these days. Oh,
yeah.
Geez.
But so he also feels like there are people out there looking for someone to provide for them. And I understand from the women's perspective, like they don't want to be with a deadbeat.
Yes. So for me, what's unattractive isn't how much money you're making. It's the lack of passion or the drive, like that stuff. Like I get that. That's fair.
And I was thinking about this. I mean, it's unfair because I hear these questions like maybe a day before you do. So I get to think about them a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking about what's more important than finding someone who's making six figures. Right. And I think you nailed it. Someone who has ambition.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who we could build something together with. Right. Like to a certain degree, if you're young and you're getting into a relationship, like you are betting on somebody's future. You're betting on your future with this person.
Sure.
And I don't think just saying I'm looking for a provider is really indicative of what kind of future you're going to get. Because you could get a provider who's a total fucking asshole. Right? And who tells you what to do, what to cook. I'll be home at this time. I'm home. I'm out there making money. Like, is that actually what you want? No, that's not what you want.
Yeah. There could be financial abuse. Also, like Shaun said, easy come, easy go. So this person could be making high six when you date the person. But what if he loses? What if he can't find his wallet and can't get into the crypto? That's just life and that's human. So then what you're going to love this person. Your love is going to be based on, how much income. It's not, I don't like it. It's not. It's very transactional to me.
And women do, to a certain degree, need someone to provide for them when we're talking about raising children, right? Like,
Oh yeah, I think.
when a
Well, I
woman's
don't know if
pregnant,
you. Yeah, you definitely need collaboration. You need for sure, and also the time that um they're not able to. I mean,
they
they have
literally
a
can't work, right? Like,
yeah
not
yeah
going to
yeah
work, right?
yeah
So you do want someone who's got your back to a
yes
certain degree, right? Like, it is a partnership. It is like collaboration. So they're not wrong in looking for a provider or someone who can provide and like create some sort of safety.
yeah. I get it, safety. But if she said I want someone who's got my back, that's what I'm looking for. That would be great. That's not offensive.
I like that.
Um, I like that.
Someone who's
And
got my
then
back.
Sean would say I'm looking for someone who's got my front. That's horrible. Sorry.
No, I also like that.
I don't want just someone who's got my back. All right. But yeah, the putting an amount, on it I don't think it's kind of a turnoff, and it's also going to be telling of the person, the character. Like I'm not to be judgmental, but if that is a prerequisite, I would be like, oh, well, that's how that person thinks, and it would turn me off.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's the advice for this guy?
Oh God.
Don't worry about it.
No, I feel like his feelings are valid. I feel like we live in a world where things are very expensive, and yeah, there's a prerequisite for to even be attractive, and he's saying you got to make at least six figures to even be considered, a dateable. I don't know how true that is, but that feeling is there, and I definitely want to validate. That must be so frustrating, and it's got to be tough if you're not there. There must be an insecurity there that you have to live with if you're not making six figures and you're trying to date. And
Yeah. Well, I guess what I
yeah
meant by not worry about it, like, don't worry about people who are looking for providers and who say that you need to make minimum six figures. Just do your thing
yeah
and find someone that you feel connection with, that you want to build partnership with.
yeah
And less focus on those other kinds of people
Yeah.
who are more like goal oriented when it comes to money.
yeah
Or who are just looking for like a good financial fit. I mean, to be fair though, there are, just taking the provider thing out there, there are a lot of women who are making good money and who want a partner who can match them there.
Yes, that's fair. Right. Like there are people who have built empires or have done something, and they don't want someone who has done nothing to just jump on. They want to like meet, have the whole where water meets water at its own level. They want to be with people who are also kind of in that ballpark, maybe, and I think that's okay.
To a certain degree, we do want to date our equals, people that were
Yes, and
relatively.
sure, and that could be emotional intelligence. That could be it's fair if you want to make that financial. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It could be values, beliefs, right? So like in general, people that are kind of what they bring to the table is kind of what you bring to the table. I know it sounds a little surfacey, but that's okay. I mean, I just think that people think that way. They just don't say it out loud.
And you're not going to be equals with your partner in every domain. That's the beauty of partnership, is that
Right.
we have each other's backs and fronts.
We're gonna get a lot of pushback for that comment. By the way.
I don't.
And
think
I'll take
so.
responsibility for
No,
that
I don't
immature
think
comment.
so.
Yeah.
There are zones.
Complimentary.
Like, so I'm hanging out with my friends this past week, and he's a great cook, and she feels like she's not a great cook. And I go, yeah, but you guys make a great couple because you lift him up in ways that he needs supporting. Right, you show up in ways that he's not able to, and he shows up for you in ways that you're not able to. And
so
that's
complimentary.
It's beautiful partnership.
Absolutely. Ideally, that's the best. You don't want to be in a relationship where both of you guys have the same kind of skill set. You don't need two cooks. You don't need two people who are amazing in the kitchen.
You need a good sous, and you need a chef.
Or someone may be really great in the kitchen, but then the other person is really great. They have other gifts to bring to the table, but that the other person lacks. And I think that's you get the most bang for your buck in a relationship when there's complementary instead of people who are the same way or doing the same thing, good at the same things.
I just want to give love to all the single people out there who don't have all this stuff. who don't have a partner who's complimentary and who
Yeah.
has to do everything on your own. I see you. I'm there with you. It's
Yeah.
fucking annoying.
Yeah. It's hard. I've been single many times, many stretches.
It's
And
hard.
also I've been single and I was not the person making six figures, and I was building. And I mean, I had enough to take women on dates, but I couldn't take them on trips. I couldn't buy them fancy things. And there was a huge part of me that felt inadequate, that I couldn't sit at the table of love because I didn't have my auntie.
They don't want fancy things. You don't have to buy your
Well,
dates fancy things.
if you will only love me because you want fancy things, then I'm not for you.
Yeah.
Hey, when I was becoming a therapist, it was my own therapist. This happens to many people who made me want to become a therapist. And it wasn't because he was good. It was just something that at that time I was like, oh, I want to do what he's doing. And he's like, John, why do you want to be a therapist? What are your goals, right? And I said, man, if I could just help people and have this little, office and come in with my latte and have conversations and just make six figures, I'd be happy. And he said, and this is a long time ago, but he said, you're never going to make six figures. As a therapist, you'll never make six figures.
Yeah.
He bluntly just said that. And I was thinking, dude, first of all, you're projecting your shit on me. But I was like, why? And I didn't argue with him. But I remember going home that day thinking, this guy says I'll never make six figures as a therapist. I was already in therapy school. But I think he didn't think about, books, and social media wasn't a thing then. I think he was just thinking about like insurance money, traditional back-to-back clients.
Yeah. 120 bucks an hour.
Yeah. But even then he shouldn't have said you would never, because he's projecting his insecurity on me.
Totally.
And I remember walking out saying, you fucker, I'm going to make seven figures. You'll see. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. You showed him, John.
Yeah.
I mean, that's honestly, like, to some guys, that's good motivation. To some people,
someone saying that you can't do, yeah,
totally.
from an ego perspective.
And I think that's fine. I think, I remember my dad doing something similar, and I was like, he's like, oh, you'll never be like a love coach. Because I remember I wanted to I wanted to be like a dating coach for like engineers or something. He's like, yeah, or like tech people or something. And he's like, that's not going to work, And I'm like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Let me show you. So I don't know if I'm helping engineers, probably a handful of engineers. Listen to the show.
It hurts more when it comes from dad, of course.
Oh my God, dude.
Than your therapist.
I mean, it did hurt. It hurt a lot, for sure.
So when my therapist said you'll never make six figures, after that subsided, I started to feel bad for him. I was like, oh, this is coming from him not being successful. He's projecting that onto me. So it tells me that he's not making six figures because he said it's impossible. You're not going to. So then I'm like, oh God, he's struggling.
Yeah.
That's different than coming from your dad, where he's like, doesn't believe it or believe in you or believe that that's a valid thing,
Well, I think he, I agree with all that. And I think my dad was just trying to like protect me.
Oh, yes. Yeah, there's that too. Right. Like, I want you to be safe.
Yeah, I want you to, and he was also a business dude. So he was like, always looking at things from that angle, minimum viable product and like, what's your go-to market strategy and all that stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know. I just want to help people find love. And he's like, that's stupid.
Yeah, that's stupid. What are you talking about? That's not a thing. But your dad is a boomer,
Look at me now, Dad.
Yeah, you showed him. both of us showing. I showed my therapist and you showed your dad.
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny.
All right, next question.
Okay, it's connected. It's all connected, dude. I think this one.
Hi, Shaun and John. I am a 39-year-old woman calling you from the East Coast of the U.S. I am in a newer-ish relationship, and we are talking long-term future planning, and we have some financial differences. I make low six figures, and my boyfriend makes probably somewhere between $40,000 and $50,000 a year, and we live in an area where $100,000 is considered to be the start of middle class. However, he has a sizable family inheritance, and I'm wondering what your advice would be around how we navigate how we split finances. Right now we don't live together, but at some point we will. I also bring a young child to the relationship that I financially support. And yeah, I'm just wondering if a future windfall is something that you would consider in an early-ish stage of dating, or if that's something I should just not even think about and we should just deal with the money we've got. Thanks for talking about money and relationships. It's one of my favorite topics, and I hope you answer it. Okay, bye.
I would say do not expect or hold on to someone's windfall. I think that's dangerous because, and it's kind of loaded, and then there's going to be pressure there. I've learned in my life when it comes to love, you really have to accept the person for who they are today, not who they could be or what they could have, you know. And I think a windfall falls into that category where it's like, oh, I'm good with it, but I know other thing's coming, and it makes you not be present and accepting of the person. But now there's something contingent when they get this windfall. This is going to be better for me or not. So I think that's a dangerous road.
Yeah, I think you're right. Also, you never know what happens with inheritance.
Yeah.
They get written out of the will. Grandma leaves it to somebody else. It's just, it's not a good investment strategy. Is to like bank on the inheritance.
Yeah, I would co-create, meaning have conversations about what you guys are doing now, and like Sean's dad said, make more money, or whatever works for you guys. I wouldn't depend. Like if the windfall happens, that's extra. That's gravy. That's not going to be the foundational piece. Yeah, and then I'm sure it's hard if you're making, whatever she said, low six, and then your partner's making 40. But again, like, why be concerned about the money? What if your partner is doing amazing things? What if your partner is contributing significantly? Isn't that valuable? Doesn't that make you happy? I mean, there are logistics as far as like bills that need to be paid and how expensive things are, but I don't know. Like, if I was with, like, say, a teacher, teachers are underpaid, right? But their jobs are so important and valuable, and I admire them getting up every day and teaching. I wouldn't be so focused on like what they're bringing to the table isn't that much money,
Yeah. I mean, I used to date I used to date a teacher, by the way, and she made less money than I did. And so we figured out, or what I suggested is like, instead of splitting things 50-50, we split them based on income. So we would split things 70-30. What?
Oh God!
Wait,
no,
is this bad?
Are you serious?
This is bad?
Wait, listen, man. Maybe it's because I'm Korean. That's some American shit. That's some white people shit. So I grew up where, and I'm not saying I'm right. But dude, that is some white people shit. I grew up where the money just goes into a pot. It's like we're a family. Oh, John needs a pair of Levi's, but because like so then when you went out with her because you made more money, and if like let's say the check was $100 for dinner, then you would pay 70, she would pay 30. Like how would
I mean, this is our early stage relationship. This wasn't like a union.
You guys weren't living together.
We weren't living together.
Yeah.
So if we took a trip, I was like, hey, do you want to take this trip? She was like, yeah, sure. And then I would pay for 70% of the trip.
How early? How long were you guys together?
9 months.
I don't know, man.
You think we're like joining bank accounts at that point?
No, I mean, you guys weren't living together, so I get it. I'm a little. I just, look, I'm not saying that I'm right, but I've always in all my relationships have been like, we pull it. What or like I've always been the person that kind of paid for things, and I never did like, well, let's see how much money you make, how much money I make. Let's do the math, and here's what you should pay. And I don't know. I do think early on, you're right. Early on, a few months in, yeah. I mean, you don't even know if it's going to work out. So it is fair. You go on a trip and people are splitting expenses and all that. But I feel like there's room for someone to feel less than because. Oh wait, no, you're actually giving them kind of a gift. You're saying, "Let me pay more because I'm making more."
That's
Yeah.
that's the way I saw it.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
starting
yeah.
to think I did it all wrong.
No, I see that. I think yeah. No, I think you're right. That's better than going half and half because you're saying, "Hey, listen, I make a little more, so let me contribute more."
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I was saying.
yeah.
And it also wouldn't be fair. I mean, it wouldn't be fair to split it half and half if she's making less money.
Yeah, I think where I was coming from was doing any kind of math turns me off.
John doesn't like doing math.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm
Not a
against
math
the.
guy.
Yeah, no, I'm totally opposite of the stereotype of Asian people. But
But
I
also,
don't think doing math based on what it's so unromantic. I think.
yeah, I mean, it is unromantic, but also, it just kind of felt like the right thing to do. But I
Well,
think
listen.
John's more likely to just pay for everything, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's right, and maybe that's coming from old models, right? That's
And
maybe coming
guilt
from
and like not
yeah,
wanting to do math. So like
yeah,
John's likely to pay for
making up
everything
for penis size stuff
and
like
then
that.
feel badly about it and wish he hadn't done it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but that's just like the way you were raised.
It's the way in my family. My parents bought us things. It was all pooled. Koreans have this thing called ke, where they come to this country. I don't know about now, but back in the day, and like 4 families would pool their money and then give that money to one family, rotating so they could go buy a business. And so that's how we start businesses, so we don't have to go to a bank and pay
Wow.
interest and all that.
Wow.
So I think that growing up in that world, it was very strange to me when I would like go to the movies and like my friends were paying for their own movie ticket. I was like, what the fuck is this? That's so weird, you know?
Because
Um,
what? You would just pay for everybody's movie ticket?
Well,
You take turns?
the dad would pay for the whole family, or it would come from like like
Yeah.
I never had to pay for like we wouldn't go to Sizzler and split the check as a family. That's what I mean by some white people shit.
Yeah.
It's just very strange, you know. But maybe it's culture. Maybe it's culture.
Well, so to answer this person's question, how do they split bills? Okay, so you're saying just pool it.
Well,
But
if
she's
it's a
making
big trip,
she's making over twice as much as he is.
yeah. So if
Right?
it's a
She's
big,
invested in her career.
sure.
She's more successful. And so now she has to pay half of his expenses as well, even though he, for all intents and purposes, is a great person. Maybe he's a teacher or something, whatever.
If they're living together and they've been together for a while, I think yes. If it's they're only 2 months in, of course not. And there's a difference. Like if they're going on a big trip, that's like if they're going on a trip, it's 10K, and they could split it according to what they make. I think that's more fair. But I'm just talking about like dinner. I'm talking about just like, hey, I'm getting coffee. It's $8. Okay, well, since you make more, you pay this. I pay. Like
no
I'm
one's
just talking
splitting
about
the coffee, John. No one's splitting the coffee.
so bigger things. I think I kind of make sense. And then I think depending on how long they've been together. So,
But here's what's interesting: is like she makes more money than him. She also has a kid that she provides for. He makes half as much, and so now when they go on a trip, she has to pay 2/3 of the trip. That doesn't seem right.
I mean, I don't see it as right or wrong. I just see them as a couple, and it's not like he's not. I think he's doing what can he do? It's like, this is what I make, and I'll contribute what I can contribute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think it should be about that early on, of course, but if you're living together and you're committing to each other, it's like, yeah, I make more money. It's a gift. Let's go fucking spend it. Like
I like your perspective. I think I'm having a hard time seeing because I haven't lived with a partner. So I have a hard time projecting myself into that situation. I think when I'd be in that situation, like, yeah, absolutely, we have a joint account.
Yeah,
where everything's in the pool.
You've never lived with a partner?
No, you know this.
Wow, huh?
You know this.
Oh, I might have forgotten. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's all I've done. I've lived with a partner, I think 5 times. I've only lived with a partner. We've never not lived together.
This is the exact same thing you said last time we had this conversation.
Oh, I forget. Shaun, I don't remember anything past like 4 days. That's just
No, it's okay. It's fine.
So,
That's not true
yeah.
because you asked me if I got the apartment in LA, and that was last week's conversation. You
This is
remember more.
why
You remember more.
this is why there was tension in that room because you're very good at digging. You're very good at turning the knife a little bit. These little remarks, they're very subtle.
It
They're
was a
not
compliment.
obvious. They're
It
not
was a
obvious.
compliment.
They're very little passive aggressive, like the dust. Yeah, my dog sheds about as much as the dust bunnies under your piano.
Dude, that was petty as fuck, though.
Oh my god, she's
For
like, fuck
sure.
this guy.
She was
She's like,
coming
get this
after
guy out
me.
of here.
She was coming after me.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I haven't lived with a partner, dude. 42 years old. So you know what I've been thinking of lately? You've said this a few times, not towards me. You've talked about guys who fail to launch. Failure to launch, living in their mom's basement, vaping, playing video games and stuff. I feel like a failure to launch sometimes.
Because you haven't lived with someone, or because you've obviously not a failure to launch as far as
I know it's so crazy, but it does feel like that. Like I feel like career-wise, failure to launch. I'm not doing shit. I know I've got all these projects, but relationship-wise, failure to launch. I'm still driving around in an old Tacoma trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing. Like I just, if you look at traditionally where people should be at 42, like I still feel like a 23-year-old, like trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah. I know you're not, but I'm sorry you feel that way. I think that feeling is coming from obviously false beliefs about yourself, and also kind of comparing or trying to trace society's blueprint of where you should be at your life. I think a lot of women, if they're not like married with kids by 40, they also have that feeling too. They judge themselves because of it,
I think we could judge ourselves for a lot of things that we're not where we thought we would be.
Yeah.
And that it's hard to accept the reality, that I'm not there.
Oh, now I feel bad. Now if I feel bad, I said, you haven't lived with anyone?
It's okay.
Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, I think that's a really common reaction.
Yeah.
And most people don't know this about me.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole love coach thing on top of that. Like, dude, failure to launch love coach for sure.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that living with someone that makes you like, I don't know if that's the bar. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, no, it's the traditional bar though, for sure.
Moving in and
yeah, definitely. But there are non-traditional relationships where it's people don't want to live together. But I think I've always kind of wanted to.
Yeah, I think it's going to be huge for you. I think I don't see it as a failure to launch thing. I see it as more of you like your space, and it would take a lot of the other person. Like you're careful. You're picky. You choose. You don't just make instinctive decisions. So living with someone is a very big deal. So I could see you really thinking about it, and so. To me, it's more coming from that, not from like a failure to launch. You know what I'm saying? It's more being picky.
I love your ability to reframe. It's very, very good.
You'll be getting an invoice after this.
Oh, okay. Let's split it based on our income.
I'm helping you. I'm not fucking.
Yeah, no, but by you helping me, you're also helping yourself.
Okay.
Also, there was the investment advice that I gave you earlier, so I'll send you a bill for that.
Okay.
401k, by the way.
Fair.
So thank you for that. Yeah, it feels nice to hear. I know I'm not a failure to launch, but I think also there are probably a lot of people that feel similarly to the way I feel.
Sure.
And on paper, things are great.
Well,
if you look at my life on paper,
yes,
it's golden.
Yeah, of course. I think generationally, this failure to launch judgment is more. People are struggling with it today more than ever because back in the day, you took a very narrow path. You went to college, you got a job, whether you didn't like it or not. You're pushing a mail card, then you're working yourself up. That's not the case today. People are very picky and they make decisions based on their truth, and so things take longer or their life looks very different. And so this feeling of I'm not where I should be is very common today.
Yeah, and back in the day, if you even pushing a mail cart would get you enough money to buy a house.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that, but yes, houses were much. Yeah, it's almost impossible to buy a house today, especially if it's a big city like Los Angeles. It's crazy.
Yeah, or San Francisco.
Yeah.
And so you do need a lot of money. So
Right.
I think there's way more pressure now for people to make more money so that they can get the things
Yeah.
that people used to be able to get, back in the 50s and the 60s. I think it was much easier for boomers to get houses, right?
Oh yeah, it was
on a
100%.
regular
It was
on
100%
a
easier.
regular salary.
Yes, like teachers, like 2 teachers buying a house was normal.
I think one teacher buying a house was normal.
Yeah.
And now it's like, forget it.
No.
You have to be hustling super, super, super
Yeah.
hard to buy a house.
Yeah.
Or have rich parents, or have people who have helped you somehow along the way.
But also, like, why is buying a house the bar? Like, why? We got to stop making that the thing. Like, you have to buy a house, then you have to get married, then you have to get like. It's okay to rent.
Well, people feel that they're throwing their money away, but there's a guy I follow online who's very anti-buying houses.
Yeah, there's many people who are,
and
they would rather rent.
They're like, hey, listen, do the math here. The math does not check out in terms of mortgage, home repairs, home insurance, like all of the roof that you didn't think you needed to replace that now costs $15,000. Like all of this, plus the energy required. So I had a house in Arizona, and I'm so glad I don't have that house anymore.
The upkeep,
the upkeep, the maintenance, the fucking pine needles, the cleaning, the tiles cracked, the dishwasher's broken. Like it was nonstop. And it's like, I'd actually much rather live in a small apartment and rent and put all the extra money away and let compounding interest do its thing. Like I'd much rather do that than be stuck in a house. But also people love houses. They want to feel safe. They don't want to feel like
I get
they
that.
could get evicted at any point. That is very scary.
And also, when you have a house, you want to build stuff out. You want a new fence. So when you buy stuff for the house, you're buying it. You don't feel like you're buying it for someone else, making the house better for someone else, which is,
Sure. And I mean, hopefully you have a good landlord. And I think I think the majority of people don't feel like they have a good landlord. Right.
I also don't believe in buying cars, unless it's just like one car that you love, you're gonna have forever. I love leasing because every 2 or 3 years I get to drive something new. And look at Sean shaking his head. That's just me. I don't know if it makes financial sense, but I've always leased because I'm a gearhead and I want to drive something new and different everywhere. I don't want to drive the same fucking car for 10 years. Quality of life, man.
I've been driving my Tacoma it has nearly 200,000 miles on it. I put 120,000 miles on it.
Yeah, but there's a difference between us with that.
Yeah, there's a difference. But also I paid my truck, I paid for it cash, $11,000.
Yeah, to not have a payment.
So I have no payments. My insurance is $60, like a year or something, a month, not even.
Yeah.
But I've also put a lot of money into my truck, right? Like maintenance, shocks, suspension, the camper, all that kind of stuff. And so, what's the payment on that SUV?
Are we still on the air? Are we still on the air?
We're on
it
the
sounds
air.
like we're just. It seems like the podcast is over and now we're just shooting the shit.
No, I'm
the
just
car
scared.
payment. My car payment for me to have, because I'm an enthusiast, is whatever the card is. It's around $700 to $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
So it's because it's going to be some kind of like some car with a lot of horsepower, and
it's like a subscription.
A subscription.
Yeah, you have like a car subscription.
That's exactly it. Someone should create that where you could drive different cars and you just pay this monthly.
Well, that's what the lease is. It's a subscription.
That's what a lease is.
Yeah, you pay for the car, and then I want to say 700 to 1,000. There are a lot of people who have big car payments.
Well, these days that's not even that big of a car payment. I guess it is, but listen, I don't know if it makes sense on paper. It works for me. It's the same methodology as paying $10 for a pour over coffee because you like the experience and you want to go sit at the coffee shop and have that. Because I could buy an espresso machine and it would pay itself off. It would be cheaper for me. Do you know what I'm saying? Or a pour over machine or the fancy stuff. But I actually pay the $10 and I just file it as experience. So a hefty car payment, yes, for many would not make sense, but I file it under experience. When I downshift and I'm taking, hugging a canyon at I don't know, 80 miles an hour and I feel the car, and then knowing that, a couple of years later I get to drive something that's new and exciting, that's worth it to me.
I think people just choose to spend their money on different things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, some people it's clothes, some people it's travel, some people it's
Yeah, for me, I think it's I spend a lot of money on travel and gear.
Yeah, I spend zero money on gear. See, that's where I feel like, oh, that's always. But for you, it's like, no, you go camping, you do this, you do that, and gear. And like to me, gear is like, what the fuck is gear? It's
I bought a new pair of skis.
Yeah, I would never.
I bought a ski pass, so that's $1,000.
Yeah, I would
right?
never
So
do
like,
anything. Yeah,
we have things that light us up in different ways.
if we were a couple, just bringing it back to kind of trying to help people, this would be something that we talk about. These are like, we are very different in the way that we spend and what matters to us and what's important. And so under the umbrella of money, these would be things that we'd have to hash out and talk about.
Well, if we were a couple, I would I would handle the finances.
No, you wouldn't.
No, I would. Yeah, I would. For sure, the investments.
Yes, you're right. You're probably better at that for sure. Although we started this episode with you not being able to get into your wallet, but yes, I would let you handle that for sure. We would just write the password. We'd have to share the password so we could actually get into our account.
Ow! You say I'm good at fucking twisting the knife?
I'm using humor to lighten
samurai sword.
I'm using humor just to lighten, because I already know from you, you've accepted, you're now grieving, you're moving on. Life is short. Let's make jokes.
I'm dying. That was
humor is what makes things better, Shaun. Always.
We got to end there. That was fucking gold.
Thank you for listening. If you have access to a rooftop or a awesome venue in Los Angeles, Shaun is in Los Angeles, and we're looking to do something live.
Yes, and leave us your questions. People have been leaving great questions, by the way. We've got a whole handful of them, but keep doing that. 657-549-1001. And have a beautiful week.
Be well.